heroin addiction and depression and a lot of misery that came behind the band itself. Now, this was a great fucking band, and I'm not going to tell you it's not, because I dig every one of their songs. But a lot of the way that it made people feel while listening to it, it's sort of a bad mindset, menacing vibrations. More and more music like this, as I said, is becoming more and more popular with bands like 3 Days Late and Apocalyptica. And I would like to bring in today my British Columbian correspondent. And as I said, he's not British, but he's not Colombian either. It's kind of an enigma if you ask me. He is, in fact, neither, but Canadian. That being said, Barry Prince has a few things to say. And we also today will be bringing in... We will also today be bringing in one Sherry Beth from New York. You'll have to mind her sort of irrational ways. She's a very bright person, but we all have our issues. Now, with this music, and my sister tells me this all the time, she says, a lot of that music, although it's some great music, there's something about it that just isn't right. It has this way of lowering your vibrations. Now, when I say lowering your vibrations, I speak of the power of vibration. I speak that every sound and every song and everything that we say actually influences our reality in a very minute way, but when you expose yourself to these vibrations on a daily basis, which is what these people who promote this music would, at least I'm speculating, would want us to do, it brings us to a completely different place over time. I believe this has to do with the suppression of human consciousness, and there are lots of theories behind this, but I do think that they would much rather like to see, at least past 9/11 and in this fear-based society, us living in fear, and with the promotion of a lot of this music promotes suicidal tendencies, is what I'm trying to get at as well. Now, Barry, what do you have to say about this?
Well, your analogy is great. I'm gonna reiterate what you said about the influence really taking a change. About 12 years ago is where I really did notice a big change in the industry. We got to look who owns the music and the entertainment industries now. It's all owned by globalists. And my research and studies of the Illuminati and the Bilderberg Group and the Bohemian Grove and their meetings, everything about them are demonic and satanic influence meetings where we're seeing and hearing about blood rituals.
Hold on. We're going a bit off topic here.
No, not really. I just wanted to talk about that for a second because of the influence I see now as a paradigm in the music industry. The people that are influencing the music industry now, Fawkes, are the people that are what I call globalists, and their agenda is basically a satanic agenda. And you're seeing that in the music.
Oh, of course. Now, when we picture when we pictured okay, so a lot of that music does have some pretty dark references. I would like all of you guys right now to check out an artist by the name of Tom Waits. I've never seen a video like this before, but it's really creepy, actually. I'm bringing it up right now. I don't know where it is. That sucks. Anyway, but there's a lot of that really dark kind of like undertones behind all of the music in the modern day music industry. Lots of occult symbolism, of course. A lot of those music videos tie themselves to occult symbolism, which of course goes back to the time of like Jimmy Page, and a lot of artists in those times were interested in a man by the name of Aleister Crowley, who now, people listening out there, we are having a bit of difficulty with our stream right now, according to our producer Bob, from Bob's Backyard. One could speculate that we are being hacked. I am beginning to subscribe to that theory, but that's okay. I only subscribe to that theory because our friend Barry, our correspondent up in British Columbia, had himself an issue while talking controversial topics, alternative topics. Very interesting, in fact. He got cut out and it wouldn't allow him to call back for about 30 minutes. Could we be finally approaching complete and utter information fascism? Well, we're already there, but the question is, are we approaching Skype fascism? Well, if Microsoft bought that bitch, then you know we're approaching fascism. That being said, back to the original topic, because I'm not going to pull Clyde Lewis and change the topic just because we're being targeted. I don't let our enemies win psychologically, nor do I let them win literally. So, that being said, for the sake of argument, let's continue our show as it was originally intended. Now, the music industry, I'm noticing that a lot of music on YouTube right now, this, what you'd call satanic, this dark, evil mentality that comes with the music at hand, like Tom Waits or 3 Days Grace, or like the same people I brought up. I'll just bring up the same again. Their music is being ripped, re-ripped, remixed, and re-recorded and put on YouTube by a bunch of various individuals, and it is not being copyrighted by YouTube. There are no claims being held against it. Now, when I type in Pink Floyd, Pigs, very good song, Pigs, from the band, from the album Animals, I begin to notice that not only does the song no longer show up like it did 3 years ago, but every single download of this song has a little marker below it that says, that has a little triangle indicating caution. This video previously contained a copyrighted audio track. Due to a claim by a copyright holder, the audio track has been muted. And now the very same company, that hosts many of these other songs, will not do the same thing for songs by Shinedown or other bands of the modern genre. So, as much as I'd like, I'd like to have Barry's opinion on this. What do you think, man? Do you think that the common sense applies here? Not many Americans have much common sense anymore, but the common sense applies that music like Pink Floyd, which inspires thoughts of dissent against authority and rebellion, are being censored through the means of the copyright system?
I've seen the same thing that you're referring to, Fawkes, and what I see it as a funneling of the youth's attention to what they can and cannot watch. The people in the movie industry have tremendous power. So they are controlling exactly what is being seen and what is not being seen by the youth of America. And that is a direct response to what you just said. It is very prevalent because I've seen lots of good shows and lots of good songs being removed. Wholesome, good songs that inspire patriotism are being removed or copyrighted so they can't copy them. You're right on the ball.
I feel like I am living with my parents when I'm using Facebook and YouTube because, I mean, it really is virtual parenting. I mean, when you're online, you are really being parented by these people. Like, no, you can't watch that. That is bad for you. That does not make us look good. But when it comes to Facebook, I am currently banned for another 36 hours, or for those on the metric system, that's a day and a half, by Facebook from sending friend requests or messages. Now, I thought it wasn't bad enough that I was sending friend requests and getting blocked, but sending messages? But with the music industry, like I said, I mean, check this out. Comfortably Numb. Very depressing song by Pink Floyd. You think it will be banned? Nope. It's not. That's cool. Okay, now, how about Rage Against the Machine? Which, as the title implies, is a band solely devoted to the Rage Against the Machine. I'm not sure this will be blocked. I don't think it will. No, it won't be. But they are working one by one at getting rid of all these videos. It is really slow and incremental, but in time it will take place. But I sent you some of those videos today. What did you think about that video of that band Black Veil Brides? That's a great song.
I had a hard time watching it. I had a hard time watching it, buddy.
I know, and that's the thing, man. I dig their music, but when I was watching that video, I'm like doing double, triple, and quadruple takes, and I went on Wikipedia and I'm trying to understand a little bit more about this band, and they say that they get their influence from bands like Motley Crue, and I'm like, yeah, maybe, but I don't think so. I'll tell you right now, Nikki Sixx was a badass motherfucker would whoop these dudettes' ass. Nah, it's not my style, man. I mean, Motley Crue is my style, but there was just, I don't know. It's really how
it's not just the music industry either, though, Fawkes. It's every form of entertainment that are being put in front of our youth. If you look at the games that are coming out for gaming systems, if you look at the movies that are coming out of Hollywood, like a lot of them shock me because I'll be real quick about this. When I was growing up, we saw the odd horror movie. I mean, The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock was a shocker back then. But we see the odd one. But now it seems like everything I see coming out of Hollywood is either something to do with ghosts or devils or animals more fighting into humans more fighting into animals. It is all very, very what I call demonic, because it was what I was taught as a child as being evil is now good, and what I was taught as good as a child is being evil, and it's being it's a complete role reversal, and it's being glamorized.
The problem is that we are being taught as a society now that that setting a standard of morals is rather than being moral and right. And I myself have an issue with understanding what right, what wrong, how can you judge this, how can you judge that. But in the end, when you break it down to the bare minimum, our society survived very well with these set code of ethics and standards and morals. And whether it's Christian or Catholic or Jewish or whatever, we as a society survived as with these guidelines. I'm not saying that we should have to live by them, and if you want to break them, go right ahead. I promote that, actually. Do whatever the fuck you want. But promoting death and depression and Satanism and homosexuality and all of this stuff like it's something that should be and is normal when it's... I'm not going to judge, but I'm going to say right now that past 50 years that wasn't normal. So why are we promoting it now? You can do whatever you want. You can do with your shit wherever you want to put it, in my opinion. But there is, like I said, the past 50 years that's, I mean, we don't have to judge people, but we don't have to play music and put it out there and make it seem like this is the way it should be, as if it already is. You understand what I'm saying, guys, right, Barry?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, growing up as a child. Okay, go ahead, Spock.
No, what were you going to say?
Well, growing up as a child, of course, to be cool, we all listened to the same music, we all sang the same music, we hung out, and blah blah blah. And the same that same thing kind of applies today. I mean, this is being funneled to our youth, and for them to be cool, they all got to kind of mimic what their heroes are doing in the rock and roll industry and the movie industry. So it's a direct psychological attack on the youth, where I see them as being undermined.
I'm glad that you put it like that, brother. Heroes. There's a song out there by a band that nobody knows of for this reason. It's a band called AWOL Nation. They did a song called Kill Your Heroes. I'm starting to understand more and more what that song means. There are just so many people who will go with the public mindset and actually become a part of that mindset, not because they believe in it, but because they believe in nothing and they want to be cool.
It's almost like they're trying to take the conscience conscience out of the human body, Fawkes. And that's what I kind of see, because, I consider myself a person with a conscience, and I know what is right and what is wrong. And what I see all three of these industries doing, even in the games, is they're attacking that conscience.
Hold on, that's the thing. Now, it's not so much right or wrong. It's the elimination of one's personal judgment. Being gay is not wrong, nor is it right. Being one way or another is not wrong, nor is it right. It is a decision that you make on your own. The problem is, with the music industry, not only with homosexuality, I'm going to move on from that, but with this suicidal tendency that they promote and this darkness that they promote, a lot of those bands have actually on their own made that decision to be that way. But with the record labels putting it out there, promoting it to others, it's almost as if, given the way our popular culture works and the media, that they're trying to make you make this decision to be this way for you. And given the way our social structures work in this country, the way people get with each other and just, do whatever, the way people are in this country and across the world, it almost seems as if they're aware of the fact that people are going to conform to this because their friends do it, they do it, mob mentality. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You can be one way or another, but...
Well, it's just kind of logical that these songs and influences on the youth do have an effect on their psychological well-being and the way they reflect on life. And I've always maintained that you are what you eat. So if you're feeding them this kind of information, it does not provide for a good moral background in a person. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm not saying evil or good. But there is, in this world, I consider evil and I consider good. And what I see there is, like I said, a total role reversal. And that really, as far as I'm concerned, undermines the youth.
See, that's the thing, brother. It's not like... There is a right and wrong issue here, but I honestly think it's a bit more complicated than that. I think the idea behind this music and the violent change in the music industry from 2000 to 2002 and so on has to do with trying to get people afraid or miserable or depressed or constantly living in a state of fear. And with this music always playing on the radio and with people listening to it on a daily basis while watching the news and playing games like Call of Duty and watching movies where there's just blood and gore and guts and horror and torment and torture and all of this fear, the only way people can really learn to deal with this fear or actually want to deal with this fear, which is a lot of people do, they like to be afraid. The horror movie theme, which is I like to be scared. It's fun watching, like a roller coaster, right? Yeah, we get on roller coasters because we like to be afraid. But the reason why is because of this disconnect, this high that comes from having that fear, that adrenaline rush, going down about 300 feet at like 70 miles an hour. That fucks with your head. But if you're getting that on a daily basis, every single minute of every single day, you begin to disconnect from that which we call reality, and it makes you much more easier to manipulate. If you're constantly disconnected and constantly high off of this fear that is being forcibly pumped into you on a daily basis, then you're much more easier to control.
Right. Well, that's what they're basically doing. They're disassociating kids with reality. They glamorize killing, they glamorize guts and gore and everything else. Well, that is not reality. If that is reality, then we're in a lot of trouble, right?
Well, see, the idea is to convince people that, as somebody I know keeps telling me, this is reality.
Yeah.
But this isn't reality, actually. It is only a small fraction of reality. What we perceive as reality is actually very hard to perceive as a whole. And in fact, when you tell somebody this is reality, you better be God, because you couldn't possibly know what the whole of reality really is. That being said, they want us to believe, however, that our reality is just this. Fear, death, wars, killing, violence, AIDS, famine, mental illness, corruption. Which is sort of like what people in the truth movement are kind of stuck on. But that's okay, that's a whole different thing. I would rather be a bit paranoid of my government than be in fear from the world I live in because of my government. I am not so much a paranoid type, but at the same time, it's necessary paranoia. That being said, I spent quite a bit of time listening to bands like Coven. See, there is a sort of a level that goes with this kind of music, you know, mild to hardcore. This is a song, and I'm going to give it to everybody listening right now. I'm also going to hook it up with people in the chat room who are listening. Take a listen to that whenever you get a chance. It is a prime example of promoting a depressed mind or trying to force a depressed mind. There you go for everybody in the chat room. Hi guys, how you doing? Barry.
Well, it's great for the pharmaceutical companies if these movies do induce suicidal thoughts in the kids. They get to prescribe some drugs.
Right. And you see, the problem is that we don't see the connection. We don't see that the same people running the drug companies are also have their hands in the pockets of the record companies. But once you see the bigger picture, you realize, wow, they're force-feeding, they're giving me all this depressing music, and when I get depressed, they're locking me up and giving me drugs, and then giving me more music, so I want to take more drugs. Man, myself, I mean, I got pretty heavy into it, too. I was just like, fuck, why am I listening to this shit? But that's the thing. You can't completely blame the music. It is this bigger picture. It is the whole picture. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, I blame the media, the music, the video games. It's not that. It's the whole thing. It's a part of a bigger picture. Right now, we are discussing a small part of the bigger picture, which is the music industry. Which, believe it or not, I'm starting to listen to more like indie pop bands, independent label, without a record label, because I'm just like, you know, these people, the bands aren't actually being influenced in any way by the music industry. They are just doing their own thing and making their own music.
Yeah, that was a great point, Fawkes, about the same people running the music industry, the ones behind the pharmaceuticals, because there's a lot of truth to that. So it really makes you wonder, you know, what the heck's going on there, man, and who's got their finger in the pie. It's all, like you said, a little piece of the puzzle.
Oh, it's like the same people dealing drugs. I'm sorry. It's like the same people dealing drugs are selling chicken nuggets, man. It is just all an interconnected web. And the spider in the center is the man in charge, and he wants it all done his way.
And it's funny how you and me sometimes we start talking about this stuff and we get into these conversations, it all makes sense because we can see all the little pieces and how they're very good at manipulating. We know that, and how they're manipulating us in this manner, eh? So.
Oh, by the way, I am taking callers here today. I don't know if we actually have that set up, but if anybody wants to call in who's listening right now, please do, because I know y'all have something to say. Maybe some of y'all are too tripped on the situation at hand with the news and Syria and all that to want to call in about some show about the music industry, but you have to know it all ties in. But like I was saying with copyrights, third-party claims, and a lot of third-party claims are being used to censor people's information, the information that they're putting out online right now. Alex Jones's shows are actually being censored too. Alex plays music by Deep Purple every now and again, and he's been playing the same shit for about 3.5 years. It's actually getting sickening. But he does play that kind of music, but he must know that because he's playing that music, they're blocking his entire 3-hour broadcast because of third-party claims that are being made to censor his show. And so it is becoming very difficult to listen to his show. Although, on that note, it's not always becoming difficult. Well, in a way it is. Like censorship, like what I'm talking about with censorship. That's being censored on YouTube. Now, I went onto his channel, I said, fuck YouTube, I'm getting on the Alex Jones InfoWars channel. I click Listen Live. Windows 8 actually wants me to download some application so that I can listen to his show on my computer. So I'm like, okay. Now, to download this application, you need to be using a Microsoft account with your computer. Your account, your computer, you know, that big plastic thing with all those parts inside it, you know, that thing that you paid all that money for, the only way you can listen to a stream on it is if you have Microsoft's permission to, meaning you have to be logged into their company to use that application. So censorship is becoming very real. I I was like, fuck it, I'll get it on YouTube. I'll find a way, man. I'll find a way. But music is just they're going through music quite a bit to control the minds of the many, and that is just one way they're doing it. Through censorship, the music that's good, like Scott McKenzie, Pink Floyd, Pearl Jam. Well, they're not censoring that quite yet, but they will once it becomes necessary. Barry, come on, man. I'm going to. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring somebody in here. I know Sherry wants to come on. What were you going to say, Barry?
I'll wait for Sherry to have a comment if she wants. I had a few more,
He's
but
not
I'll
going
wait
to be able
for
to come
Sherry.
in. Bob's going to have to get her in. I forget that this is not your regular Skype.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll reiterate what I said earlier, Fox. What really alarms me is how fast this has changed in the music industry and the entertainment industry in the last 10 years. And I think it's all tied together. And we know it's all tied together. And that's what people should be using their conscience when they allow their kids to purchase games and watch movies and listen to shows, because a lot of it isn't good for their influence. Okay,
Well,
so I'll just put it at that.
I mean, there are songs out there by bands like Black Eyed Peas, and I don't know many other groups out there that are like this, but they promote this mentality that life is all about, and you can't have a good time unless you do, getting fucked up all the time, all day, every minute of your life, man. It's like, let's get retarded in here. Let's get retarded in here. I'm like, yeah. Let's get retarded, man.
And I grew up listening to Henry VIII, I am Henry VIII. That's what I grew up listening to, buddy. So it's been quite a change over the years.
The thing is, let's get retarded, man. Great track, great song. But I'm not about ready to get retarded. So, I mean, I spent too much time being retarded. I'm about ready to be logical at this point. Not logical, but intelligent. I like being intelligent. Makes me feel happy to know that I have a brain between those things that we call ears. God, I love that brain. It works. Not all too well sometimes, but as long as I focus, it works. That being said, here is Sherry, Beth, Sander, Magoo, New Yorker from the state of York New.
Magoo. I like that. Magoo. I'm going to add that.
Actually, my brain works fine. I just give myself little credit sometimes. Anyway, Sherry, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you? Just walking the dog.
Welcome to Darkcity Radio, Sherry. You're speaking with Truth Radio Networks. How you do? How do? What the fuck can I do you for?
Oh, well, I just blew my O-ring out. How's everything going? What are we talking about today?
Wait, before you continue, I need to know, what do you mean by O-ring?
It's a joke. It's a metaphor.
Okay, an O-ring is referring to a mechanical part, a ring, of course, in the shape of an O that separates two poles or a wheel from a bearing.
It's not this or that. It's a joke. Just forget it.
Okay, well, I blew my O-ring out last night. So, anyway, what do you think about the music industry, Sherry? Because these days, past 10 years, we've had a dramatic change from music that is completely solely devoted now, at least after 2001, conveniently enough, to this depression, suicidal tendencies, heavy metal, music that I like, but, I don't want to dwell in, I don't want to read too deep into or use it as a mindset, but it's all gruesome and gothic and dark, and there's gothic, and then there's emo, and then there's screamo, and then there's all of this. I'm like, yeah, so what do you think the purpose is of this music being promoted the way it is?
Well, it depends on the music we're talking about. If we're talking about hip-hop, like Jay-Z and Beyonce, or
That's to promote a shallow consumerism, materialistic point of view, unless it's Immortal Technique or Vinnie Paz or Jedi Mind Tricks.
Yeah,
but I'm talking more about
the entertainment industry on a whole is designed to suck young kids in and to buy into the fantasy and to want to aspire to it. I mean, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they are the symbols of...
Oh. Okay, I think she's still here. Sherry, you still here?
Oops,
Fuck.
I hit the mute. Oops.
Okay, well, Laurel Hill was recently sent to a counselor or re-education because she was sent to jail for 3 months, house arrest for 3 months, but also because of her conspiracy theories about the entertainment industry and how artists, and this was her so-called conspiracy theory, that artists were being suppressed by major record labels and forced to pump out shit for the sake of promoting consumerism, materialism, overprocreation, and all of this shallow mind, suicide tendencies, mindset bullshit. And when she got sent to counseling for this crazy idea that she had, even though she herself was an artist.
One of the Marleys. She's also married to a Marley, so that has to factor into why she's being ostracized and persecuted. Because
you see, in the United States, we
there is no United States anymore, man. We have no rights, no constitution.
Right. Well, the United States was headed this way from the beginning, I think. But with Laurel Hill was in a band called the Fugees, for all those who have no idea who Laurel Hill is. But in the United States, we are punished for crimes committed duly according to the law. Now
we are considered guilty until proven innocent.
Well, with Laurel Hill, she was sentenced to counseling for a crime that she didn't commit. Now, I can understand counseling in a relationship where a man is beating a woman, got sentenced to prison for it. Yeah, you should go to counseling, dude, because hitting women, not my bag. Shouldn't be anyone else's either. For all of you woman beaters out there, you've got some serious fucking issues and you should tune out. But with Laurel's situation,
they don't even send pedophiles to counseling.
Oh, of course they don't, because they support pedophilia. They don't support pedophiles.
Yeah, they promote it. They love it.
Well, actually, that's wrong. They do send, in the state of Maine anyway, they send pedophiles to counseling. But
yeah, but that's Maine, man. I mean, Maine.
Yeah, Maine is one of the last safe places. Unfortunately, it's getting worse and worse every day, though. People are getting shot up in here, just like everywhere else. Maine is actually looking kind of like it's going to be like the next Detroit. I don't know. But
really?
She got sentenced to counseling for a crime not committed, just because the judge said, "Well, I think your ass is crazy." Yeah, I think your ass is crazy. I personally, as a judge, as a man in a really expensive suit, I think you're crazy. So you're going to counseling. Hopefully, you can relearn what it is. Relearn and learn to believe in the things that I, as a man in an expensive suit, believe in. I only say I as a man because you have to remember, a judge is nothing more than another guy. He has nice clothes, he has a lot of power, but he's just a big, usually fat guy. So, who is a judge to tell you that you are crazy and need to be re-educated? Well, you fucking got me.
I think, it's almost like this re-education thing is almost like what the world is coming to as far as pre-crime, as far as predetermining who is going to do what and why and when. I think it's almost like a reprogramming. They're trying to reprogram her. They're trying to.
I don't know about all of that. I mean, it is true. It is true, but I'm saying this is more like. Yes, they are trying to pre-program us and prepare and punish people for crimes they haven't yet committed. But I think we're getting more along the lines of NWO, and we're trying to stick more to the music.
Let's talk about Madonna. Madonna, Miley Cyrus, and...
Oh, Miley Cyrus. Oh, well, okay. So you've got Katy Perry. Recently on Ground Zero, we've had a bit of a conversation. Not me personally, but Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis and a few other people are talking about
he's the coolest.
How a lot of people in the music industry have supposedly sold their soul or something like that to the devil or whatever. I think it's a bit more complicated than that. But with the strange undertones of a lot of the videos being made with Katy, huh?
How do you call him? How do you get in touch with this guy? I mean,
go on groundzeromedia.org. I've been trying to get...
Oh, not Clyde Lewis. Satan.
Oh, well, Satan's number... Hold on, I have his number in my phone. Hold on a sec.
Text it to me.
I call him every weekend. 666 9210. You got that?
9201.
It's a 666 area code. At least that's what it was last week. It seems to change every now and again depending on where he's at in the world. But it seems like a lot of these people have some really like, have you ever seen Katy Perry's music video? What was it?
E.T.
I don't even know. It was like she's being abducted and going out into space.
Right, it's E.T. Extraterrestrial.
Yeah, E.T., right? She's out there in outer space, and she's like she's talking about like infect me with your poison and some STD shit. Like, I mean, you can say anything.
There's a virtual condom on Fawkes.
And I get a bit nervous talking about it because I really don't know what to say about this chick, and I'm sure everybody out there is going to be like, but really, like, her song is either a metaphor for alien abduction or a metaphor for getting an STD. I mean, that's all I can really get from that. It's a good song.
Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga's the same way. She had a perfume, and I don't know what the name was, but she said it smelled like a skank.
Lady Gaga, dude. There are some chicks here in Maine who know 3 artists. 3. There are hundreds of thousands of musicians in our world, but there are only 3 that they can name. That is Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, and Rihanna. And they will listen to the same tracks over and over. Oh, yeah. Women here in Maine are extremely shallow. I might just make the decision to go celibate. I'm not shitting you.
Are you sure that's just not a you know?
I need to
become a monk. I think it's a good idea.
I would like to get laid, but then there comes these attachments, and if this chick got knocked up, and
we have services for that.
I would be stuck attached to this piece of shit woman my entire life.
Fox needs a dude.
Stuck being tortured, listening to Rihanna.
That's what it's supposed to be like, to be tortured.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I think with the terrorists, the supposed terrorists in Guantanamo Bay, we shouldn't waterboard them. We should play Rihanna over and over again until they confess.
I think we should play Jay-Z.
Jay-Z might be more their style. I think we should take away the infected mushroom.
Rockefeller.
And plug in some fucking Lady Gaga.
Let's talk about Jay-Z. Let's talk about Jay-Z in his sports arena in Brooklyn that houses the Nets.
Over and over again. Just be like, over and over again. And they will confess to everything if they did anything in the first place. But that would be a too mild form of torture, wouldn't it? I'm sorry. What are you trying to say, Sherry?
Come back to me. Focus. Let's talk about Jay-Z.
Come back to me. What are we doing now? I'm just kidding. Oh, Shiny. What's up?
Jay-Z and his sports arena. Oh, sweet Jesus. Is this guy serious? He's answering the phone. He's got a show. Come on, man.
Okay, well, we do have about 8 minutes here, Sherry, so I'd like to get Barry and Sherry in here to talk.
All right, Barry, you go for it, because I can't get a word in.
Anyone in here to talk. Anyone. Sherry or Barry.
Jay-Z and his sports arena in Brooklyn for the Nets is a nice grounding zone for little boys in Brooklyn who play basketball, just like every other sports outfit in the United States.
Are you implying some form of pedophilia?
I'm implying that Jay-Z is part of the New World Order, yes. I said it. Oh, feels so good.
Well, of course Jay-Z is a part of the NWO. He's a complete Obama supporter, isn't he?
Well, anybody who can have his record company called Rockefeller, I mean, he must know someone. Because I can't get Rockefeller.
Wait. His record label is Rockefeller?
Rockefeller.
That was Rockefeller's nickname. Huh, that sucks. Yeah, I don't listen to Jay-Z, man. Jay-Z is a piece of shit. I've never heard a track by him that was worth listening to. I'm more like, if you want to talk about like old school hip hop and shit like that, I'm talking Biggie Smalls, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Cottonmouth King. Tupac. That was when hip-hop was hip-hop, man. Now it's all about promoting consumerism, big rims. Like, with Biggie Smalls, his song Juicy is all about the idea that I got No, hold on. It's about, I've got this, I've got that, I got everything I could ever want, but you can have it too. Okay? He's worked his way from the bottom, from the projects,
Wait,
to
weren't
the,
they all
to the
crack dealers?
penthouse. From
Forgive
the
me if I'm wrong.
project to the
Weren't they?
penthouse. Now
Like
music
Chris
about...
Jackson?
Huh?
Didn't they all sell crack? Or some sort of crack
Well,
cocaine?
my point is that
Am I
kind of
wrong?
music used to be uplifting, man. Now it's death.
Illuminati, Miley Cyrus, Ann Leibovitz, and their photo shoot when she was 13, when she was basically naked. And Billy Ray Cyrus dropped her off for the day with Ann Leibovitz. And apparently she bound Miley Cyrus's feet, and I don't know how she did it, but she burnt or etched in Hebrew symbols or something on there. And that was her induction into the
Illuminati?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess I don't know. It's the Mothers of Darkness we're talking about, is the female Illuminati, which are the witches. You know, they live in the Chateau de Amour in Belgium. And, you know, it's Queen Beatrix and all those nasty ladies. But, you know, because Beyonce is like a low-level one. Angelina Jolie. Madonna isn't anything. She's more of a, I guess, just a...
Well, I'll tell you right now, Katy Perry is the kind of chick who I would bang and not even give respect. Hold on. Katy Perry is the kind of chick that I would bang, and then in the middle of the night, about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I get my shit, I take one look at her and go, fuck. And I would peace out. No number, no tracks, all my shit gone. She wakes up and has no idea what happened. That's the kind of respect I give to a chick like her. But Barry apparently wanted to say something. Barry, what's going on, man?
Oh, you guys kind of lost me. I'm just going to listen for a while here, okay, Fawkes?
Bummer. Okay, but yeah.
Oh, man. Bummer. All right, let's
G'day, Sherry.
Hi there. How are you?
Hi, Sherry. Good, darling. I'm down in Australia. G'day, mate. Good on you.
Good
4
day.
minutes to go, and it's a great show. Fox?
Good.
Hi. Sherry.
How is it in
Hi.
Australia? Everything cool?
Yeah, it's not...
Did you get to see the solar eclipse?
my family did, yes.
No.
I didn't. I know.
Any signs of Comet Ison? The big one that's freaking me out. Anybody hear about that?
There is going to be no impact of Ison.
Please.
No, there's going to be... I'm going to stand outside and watch it fly by, but there's going to be no impact. If there is, we're fucked. We're done. The end. That's all I'm going to say about that. But, I mean, with 3 minutes to go here, I wish that we hadn't have lost Barry in the whole of this show that we have had, but...
Okay, hey,
That's
I'm
okay.
back, Fawkes. I kind of got my thoughts back.
the Lord.
Hey, you only got a couple minutes. You only got a couple minutes left in this show. So I'll just...
Alright,
one
well,
more.
since there is only a couple minutes left, I'm going to go out with some chill beats, nothing to do with the Illuminati. Tune into my my podcast on Spreaker.com, Truth Radio Network, or Truth D Radio Network for those on the metric system who don't know how to spell. Anyway, it's been good, guys, and thank you for tuning in to Dark City. We're out 2 minutes.